Hello everybody, this is DJ Gerry, and I'm glad to be back in the studio. I wanted to share with you some recordings. Now we're talking about video and audio recordings of concerts that I have actually attended. And it's really cool to be able to have the recordings of a show you've attended. Now, I will list some of the eBay stores that I purchased some of these in my description. But before we get to all that, let's start with one of the most amazing and most memorable concerts I ever attended. And this is Van Halen. It's called The Final Eruption. This was back in October of 2015. This is actually the final performance of Van Halen. This is a really rare recording. It's actually Soundboard. And I never thought that was going to be Van Halen's last show. I didn't know about the health problems that Eddie Van Halen had been going through. They had just released an album a year or two before. They were back together with David Lee Roth, which seemed like a miracle to me. And I just had no idea that this was going to be the end. It seemed like the beginning of something amazing. Eddie and David seemed to get along really well, and they were funny, and they were just in rare form. I'll never forget that show, that Van Halen's final show. One of the last few concerts I attended was at the Hollywood Bowl. Again, this was Rod Stewart and Jeff Beck remember when they were together in the Jeff Beck group, and they did those songs like Ain't Superstitious. Live at the Hollywood Bowl. Here it is. It's a double set, and it captures the entire performance. At the end, Jeff Beck and Rod Stewart get together and they perform 5 songs. I was hoping they would have done more, but it was great to see those two together and on amiable terms. Back in the day when CDs were all the rage, they had this great idea that in some of these shows you could actually buy the performance that you're at. And they'd give you the first disc at the end of the show, then they would mail you the second disc, and of course they gave you the casing. This is Kiss. I took my son to see them. This was their 35th tour. It's called Alive 35, and it was actually of that show. And then they would send you a list that you had to download, a set list of all the cool songs that they did. And it's Soundboard. It's really well recorded. It was so cool to have this as a souvenir. I think they still do that occasionally, but they're downloads. But physical media is so much more exciting to actually own, a concert that you attended. The first time I was ever in a skybox, probably the last time also, I was invited to see the Rolling Stones. That's right, they're at the Rolling Stones, and this was the last leg of their American tour. This is a rare recording, look at that, of the Rolling Stones, and this is a video of all the songs that they did. That was an amazing show. And here it is, the Rolling Stones, A Bigger Bang at Dodger Stadium. Now, when you're talking about the Beatles and the Stones and all those fundamentally awesome stars from the British invasion, you can't forget, of course, The Who. They were selling audio recordings and video recordings. This is a DVD of the entire show from the Hollywood Bowl. This was on November 5th, 2006. How cool is that? Living in Hollywood, I got to see Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr getting their stars on Hollywood. right in front of the Capitol Record Building. And that was really, really exciting. I'll never forget that. And the first time I saw Paul McCartney perform live was in 2013. And here it is, the complete Jimmy Kimmel show. Blocked off Hollywood Boulevard right near the El Capitan Theater. And this wonderful recording, it has not only the audio and video performances, but it has sound checks too, okay? You get the complete performance, and it was so cool seeing Paul McCartney. It was a free concert, Hollywood Boulevard, and he played officially at least 15 songs. Now that's pretty cool. You know, they only usually do 1 or 2 for the show, but he was having such a good time. He played for about an hour. And he did the sound check earlier. He came out and greeted the audience. That was an amazing event. Now, another incredible event was Desert Trip out in India. This was in 2016. I mean, the set list was incredible. The night I saw Paul McCartney, they had Neil Young open for him. The night before, they had Bob Dylan open for the Rolling Stones. And then the last night, they had The Who open for Roger Waters from Pink Floyd. Incredible. But this is the Paul McCartney performance. And it's the entire performance. He played a duet with Neil Young on it. They did Give Peace a Chance and Why Don't We Do It in the Road. I think it was the first time that song was ever performed live. That's from the White Album. But really excited to have this one here, Paul McCartney live at Desert Trip. Now, I've only seen half of the Beatles live, so I got to see Ringo. You know, he's always doing his birthday party at the Capitol Records building. But when he started his all-star band, this was back in 1989, I was at the first concert. It was amazing. This is a VHS recording. He performed with members of the band, Rick Danko, Levon Helm, Billy Preston, the fifth Beatle was there. He was playing keyboards in the Let It Be film. They had members of the Springsteen band, both Clarence Clemens and Nils Lofgren. Dr. John was there, Jim Keltner, and from the Eagles, they had Joe Walsh. And you know, you can't just stop at the video. If they have an audio recording, this was a CD recording of the concert as well. I don't think it's as complete as the video, but All-Star Band, he would always do these concerts in the summer. And I took my older son to see him back in 2008. And they said they were filming. This is the CD and this is the DVD. And he was excited. He says, I'm going to be on TV with Ringo Starr. You know, we were just like out in the balcony somewhere. But he was just smiling away, you know, every time they panned the camera towards our direction. Come on now. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. I missed a couple of the songs at the beginning, so it was nice to be able to go back and listen to them, see what I missed. Anyway, if you go to a Ringo concert, be punctual. The man always starts on time. And there's no opening act because he plays with the members of the All-Star Band. So, and there's no encore either. He just comes out and says, I'm not going to walk off the stage. You know, just continue playing now and you'll applaud. And, you know, but he's a no-nonsense, great performance, so much fun. I can't believe he turned 80 this year. You know, we talked about Joe Walsh being in the All-Star Band. Well, I got to see him in 2018. Here it is. This was officially released. CD and DVD of the Eagles at the Forum. And I know they're getting a little up there in the years, but my God, the concert was incredible. They did all their hits. They had, the music was just incredible because the harmonizing. You know, we lost Glenn Fry a couple of years ago, so they needed 2 guys to replace him. They had his son, Deacon Fry, who is a dead ringer. Looks just like his dad, sings like his dad. So they had Deacon Fry and they had Vince Gill to replace Glenn Fry. I mean, you might need at least two people to replace him. He was amazing. But that just shows you how important he was to the band. The Eagles live from the Fabulous Forum. You notice these were all LA shows because I live in LA. I don't travel too much. So if they come to LA, you know, I want to see them. You know, the first band that I was ever into was the Monkees. I love to watch the reruns of the Monkees TV show. They really incorporated comedy and catchy tunes so well, and it was just something I was a maybe 10 or 11-year-old boy, it could really relate to these guys. And in 1986, they had their 20th reunion. Now, I never thought the Monkees were even going to get back together. It was so hard to find their albums before the mid-'80s because most of them were out of print, and then they had a resurgence, you know, because Mike Nesmith helped create MTV. So they started playing their episodes on there and they decided to go on tour. And this was an album that they sold at the show. I happened to see the Greek Theater show and it was on September 7th, 1986. And who comes on at the end? Mike Nesmith. Wow, it was just the three Monkees, Peter Tork, Mickey Dolenz, and Davy Jones. And I believe since Mike Nesmith lives in the Los Angeles area, he decided to join them. It was impromptu. It was great. It was at the encore of the show. We didn't expect it. They played Listen to the Band. Play the drum a little bit louder. Tell me I can live without her if I only listen to the band. And Pleasant Valley Sunday together. And I remember they all got together and hugged. And then they started bowing down to him like, we're not worthy of you. You know, because his mother invented birth, so Mike became the heir. That was a magical moment to see all four Monkees together on one stage. And I found this one on the internet. It was a recording of this show. It's an unofficial release on Bird Brain Records. The other concert that I saw was this one here, David Bowie. This was the Serious Moonlight tour, supporting his Let's Dance album, and I was becoming a massive Bowie fan. You know, Ziggy Stardust I was rediscovering. Boy, was that ahead of its time. And of course the Let's Dance album I really liked, and he was getting a resurgence, and I'll never forget seeing him in concert. I couldn't believe I actually found a pretty good recording of him, a double CD of him performing. This is 1983 at the Fabulous Forum. Last but not least, this is U2. The 360 tour was the largest stage in history. Look how large this thing was. And it was in the round. I just remember like Bono just running around in circles. And making sure everybody got a chance to see him. But, you know, no matter where you were, you could always see them straight on the screen. And it was just an amazing production. I'll never forget the U2 360. They streamed it on the internet, and they also released it on video, the entire concert on a 2-disc. Maybe there have been some concerts that you attended that became recorded albums. You can leave some of those in the comments. I'd love to hear from you all. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to keep on rocking. Bye now.